you want bad play. I understand everybody is frustrating when you get sucked out, but over time, if you don't have players making bad decisions and playing badly and getting lucky here and there, I mean, poker's not going to be profitable. I would say, like, on the vlogs, like Ben Deach, I don't know how many of our listeners watch the vlogs, but Ben Deach is one of my favorites because it's just interesting to me. But, I mean, he's real good about, like, the VIPs and using the kind of giving them the special treatment and everything, and that's how it should be. It's not the grinders who make the game. It's definitely the fun players and all that, and they're the ones in demand, and we should definitely be doing everything we can to kind of, make it fun for them.
We are back in Las Vegas for the second vlog of this trip, vlog number 116. Thank you for joining me, and feeling absolutely fantastic after the last time out. A $2,000 win at the Wynn. Now, my original thought on this trip was I want to jump in this 5-10 game at the Bellagio. Obviously, it's been featured on a number of other vloggers' material, but I just can't do it. I just don't see a point in doing it. Look, in the last several years that I have data to support it, I've played 80 hours of poker at the Wynn, and I'm making $120 per hour during that time. Now, that's obviously unsustainable long term, but it has to be a little bit more than a fluke, right? It has to mean at least something in terms of what I'm doing right in those particular games. So I'm feeling really good about it. I love the fact that there's no plexiglass there. It feels great to be back to that point. So I'm just going to go back to the Wynn and jump in again. And we'll see if we can't duplicate the success that we had last time out. I stayed at Harrah's this trip because of the low price of the rooms, and it wasn't bad. The rooms don't come with fridges, but they will bring you one if you ask for it, which is important to me because I'm a smoothie addict. I start off the day swinging by the Golden Knights team store at T-Mobile Arena, and I'm proud to say that I managed to not buy anything. Then I cruise down 15 and take the Spring Mountain exit and head on into the Wynn poker room where I've managed that unsustainable hourly rate. Playing 2-5 first hand comes when I pick up kings and make it 20 and get one caller in the big blind. So with 45 in, the flop comes 10-6-9 with 2 spades. I bet 25 and he check calls. So with 90 in, the turn is the 4 of diamonds. He checks. I bet 60 and he calls again. So with 210 in the pot, the river is the queen of clubs, and he checks a third time. I really didn't think that he was very strong at all here, so I just bet 60 on the end here. He tanks on it, but manages to find a fold. Then playing six-handed, we get a $20 raise under the gun, and I call from +1. I'm in the cutoff with ace-king of clubs, and I make it 80. Only +1 calls here. So with 185 in, the flop is 8-5-5, 2 spades, and he checks. I decide to try and take this down without a pair, betting 90, but he tosses in a black chip. So with 365 in, the turn is the 4 of diamonds, and he checks. I decided to check this back as that's not a very good turn card for me to barrel on, and it's unclear just how sticky this guy might be. The river comes another 4, and again, he checks. I check back, and he says that he just had a flush draw, so our ace high is good enough. After a $10 under the gun open, I call in the hijack with 6-8 of spades, as does one other player. With 30 in, it comes king 9-4 all spades, giving me the flush. Under the gun bets out 10, and I raise him 25 more, which he proceeds to call. So with 100 in, the turn is the queen of clubs, and he checks. I bet 60 here, and he then proceeds to toss in 2 black chips. Now, to get raised on the flop, then check raise a turn is a really strong-looking line, and it's been my experience that 8 high flushes don't do too well against it. Unless, of course, you're against a known maniac, which this guy didn't appear to be. So I decided to make my first big fold of the day, and I think this would go on to be probably the best play that I made over the course of this entire trip. Then I pick up ace-jack under the gun and raise to 20. Small blind calls, so with 45 in it comes ace-9-7 all spades, and he checks. I bet a green chip here, and he makes the call. So with 95 in the pot, the turn is the 3 of diamonds, and again he checks. I decided to check this one back for pot control, something I don't often say, but against unknowns, I'll do it on monotone flops a lot. The river is an offsuit jack, giving me top 2. He fires in $75, which leaves me with an easy call. He shows 7-3 of hearts, a hand that I don't usually call raises with myself, but to each his own. Our turn check back works out perfectly, and we make the better 2 pair on the end, taking down a $245 pot. Then it folds to me on the button, and I open to 15. A young guy who just talked about running a bluff earlier at Bellagio, 3 bets to 80. And my guess is he just thinks that I'm weak on the button, so I don't want to blow him out of the pot with a 4-bet. So I just call, and with 165 in, the flop is queen-jack-8 with 2 hearts. He then kind of threw me for a loop, betting only 50. Definitely a play that you'll see when guys flop sets here, but also when you'll see when they don't flop anything at all. I was hoping it was that one. So I call, and with 265 in, the turn's to 9 of hearts, and now he checks. Despite the fact that I have no clue what to put him on here, I felt that it would just be criminal for me to check this back. But I also didn't see why a big bet made much sense either, given how weak I felt he was. So we just bet 60, and he proceeds to call. So with 385 in, the river is an offsuit 7. So there is still a one-liner to a 10, but he doesn't bet. Operating under the assumption I just made, I decide to bet tiny again, but this time he lays his hand down. Then we get a $15 open from +1 and a call from the cutoff. I have a hand that as of late I just can't seem to win with, but I figure I'll try to do it here. I 3-bet to 70, hoping both will fold, so you know what that means. Both call. And with 210 in, the flop is ace-6-3. I check, +1 bets 100. The cutoff folds, and I snap fold as well, and he does go on to show an ace. So while I still can't win with pocket 10s at least, I made the right fold. I play for another hour or so, don't have too many interesting hands, win a few more small pots, rack up, and book the win. All right, cashing out, booking a $552 win. Things continuing to go well for me on this vlog. It's always funny when you play poker in places you don't typically play and you run into people you don't typically run into. Ran into a guy that I played with down at Talking Stick in Phoenix. We swapped a couple of stories about the Yukon Brad Booth, who we still don't know what the hell is going on with. Anyway, I absolutely love playing here at the Wynn. Love this property, love the staff, love the chips, the dealers, the room itself. Everything is just great. And definitely my favorite place, obviously, to play when coming here to Vegas. Mr. Boski. Jeff is putting together a video of people's reactions when he goes from 0 to 60 in his Tesla Model Y, and apparently I'm going to be featured in it. He was then nice enough to buy lunch at Rollin' Smoke Barbecue, where I definitely overate, and I intend to return the favor if I can ever get him to come to Reno. I then played one more session at the Wynn and booked one more win before making the return trip the next day. Oh, what a trip! 5 episodes of Silver State Sights shot, and a very successful trip playing poker. Even though I only got in 3 sessions, I came out 611 big blinds ahead. So absolutely feeling good about that.